And now we get to address the public and the private chains once again, okay? But this time we're at the 2025 consensus. You want to hear it from the professionals, okay? From the real developers? Guys, check this out, all right? Settled. Argument settled right here.
The public and private blockchain. Is public blockchain or private blockchain, which one is more attractive for someone who is institutional? Institutional investor, they don't want their transaction to be public, right? We've seen it in TradFi. So how does that work? I don't know. Whoever wants to take that one.
So I think that I feel like 2 years ago there was like an endless set of panels and working groups, and the question was always public versus private blockchain. And I think that we weren't that vocal about it, but I think if you look at the behavior and the actions of most of the large buy-side firms, we've consistently opted for public blockchains.
Why is that?
So I think that we get Web3 economics, right? So we get the concept of participating in the economics. Two is that we understand that the decentralization actually, as counterintuitive as it sounds, is actually a key pillar of the security of the network. And the third one is if you have a ring-fenced island and something, if I buy a tokenized bond and I can only ever sell it back to the people who were the book runners on the same blockchain that they sold it to me, I'm basically on a liquidity island, and that is a real market structure risk.
Right.
At some point. Like at some point, there will be a day that the market pukes and that system breaks down.
Liquidity,
and like we get that.
Yeah, liquidity. There wouldn't be liquidity where you're trying to sell it, but you can't because you're on a private blockchain. Fair. David, did you have anything on that one?
Yeah, no, I just agree that the future really needs to be built out on public blockchains. Obviously, private blockchains have their use case and have their role, but to unlock the value prop of crypto, of digital assets, the composability is critical to have a public blockchain, and to have sort of the efficiency, the speed, the scale has to be public, and the transparency too.
Transparency. Arun, I want to ask you about the same question, but a little differently. What about the security, like the hacks and all that stuff? How does that impact, institutional investors' mindset in investing in public or private blockchain?
Yeah, so when a lot of these institutions started experimenting with blockchain, they started with the private blockchains. Understandably, they were very conservative in their approach. As of yesterday, or in the last 24 hours, JP Morgan has successfully executed the first transaction on a public blockchain, which is great, and that's where the world is going. I personally think private blockchains are obsolete. Even there was an event in Switzerland last week, .0 Forum, and R3 basically announced that they were looking to launch their own public blockchain.
Right.
So that's a statement. It's big for that transition. So institutions are looking at public blockchain. Now, what is the fundamental thing that they need on public blockchains that will allow them to actually create this regulated, controlled space, financial services, while also being able to tap into the liquidity and composability and the app ecosystem? It's really token standards. So if you're looking at Ethereum, you have ERC-3643, and if you're looking at Solana, we have token 22 standards. And what you do with those standards is you embed all these regulatory controls like KYC and AML into the token itself. You don't need to build protocols around it. The token itself has these standards. So if you're going to send this token to someone, they need to be whitelisted and have their wallet needs to be really kind of the right place where these assets can reside. So without that, you won't be even able to facilitate the transaction. I think those are already live. Those standards are there at the moment. So the rails are there. Now it's about making sure that assets can come at scale. They can basically make sure, and when assets come at scale, it's not necessarily the regulatory risk once the token standards are taken into consideration. I think it's more around liquidity risk. How do we make sure that these assets don't defect from their real world price? And cyber risk, of course. That's probably the biggest.